The city was dead, not silent, not peaceful, just dead. Buildings jutted toward the sky like broken teeth. Some leaned precariously, others had fallen entirely, leaving gaping holes that looked into darkness. Glass crunched underfoot, metal groaned in the wind, and ash floated lazily, coating every surface in gray. The air smelled of fire and steel, a sharp stench that burned lungs every time she inhaled. She moved cautiously through the streets, each step slower than the last. Her leg throbbed with pain, a deep, aching burn that ran from her hip down to her foot. The wound had gotten worse as the hours passed. She was alone, and the city was full of hidden dangers. She could hear the distant echoes of collapsing structures, the hum of unseen machines far away, and occasional blasts that made her stomach lurch. Time had lost meaning. She hadn't slept properly in days, maybe longer. She hadn't eaten. She hadn't drunk much either. She had been surviving on instinct, moving forward because stopping would have meant giving up completely, and knew she was close to that point. Her people's world had been vibrant once. Streets filled with light, markets alive with voices, children playing between buildings, laughter bouncing off walls. Now all of that was gone. Memories were the only remnants. She remembered walking down this street with her little brother, holding his hand as he chased little floating lights that danced in the evening sun. She remembered the smell of her mother's cooking drifting down the street, the feeling of her father's strong hands on her shoulders as he told stories of stars and distant planets. Those moments felt unreal now, like someone else's life. The invasion had come fast, relentless, and merciless. The sky had darkened with descending machines, ships unlike anything her people had ever faced. They did not communicate, they did not negotiate, they destroyed. Soldiers followed them, moving with cold efficiency. Each building that resisted was burned, every shelter invaded, had tried to help to save as many as she could. She had treated burns and broken limbs, comforted the dying, held the terrified, and whispered calm words to children who would never see their parents again. But even the central shelter had fallen. There was no refuge, no safe place left. Now she was one of the last survivors, or maybe the last. She had stopped keeping count of the bodies she had passed, of the empty streets, of the destroyed homes. She had stopped counting the cycles since the invasion began. The world she had known had ended. Pressed herself against a cracked wall, breathing shallowly, trying to make her body feel smaller, trying to disappear. Her pulse quickened. Her hand brushed against the small pulse knife she carried at her side. One charge left, barely enough to defend herself, or if she had no choice, end her suffering. She closed her eyes. Her mind drifted to her parents, to the faces she had lost. She whispered into the empty streets, "I can't do this anymore." Silence answered her. The silence of ruins, of a dead city, of a world that had stopped caring. She dug through her small pack and retrieved a weak emergency beacon. It was cracked, wires exposed, barely functional. She had used it countless times before, trying to call for help, for rescue, for anyone. Every time, nothing, not a single response. She pressed the button one last time. A tiny blue light blinked weakly, then went out. Nothing. Her legs gave way beneath her. She sat on the cold, broken ground. Tears came slowly, then faster, as if her body had been holding them in for a lifetime. She had nothing left. No allies, no home, no hope. Raised her face to the blackened sky. Clouds hid the stars, hiding the universe that had once felt infinite. She whispered almost to herself, "Is anyone out there? Anyone at all?" A faint tremor beneath her boots. A sound that didn't belong to the wind, to crumbling buildings, or to the distant hum of the machines. Footsteps. Froze, her heart slammed against her. She pressed herself closer to the wall, trying to make herself disappear. Her pulse knife was clutched tightly in her hand. She couldn't tell who it was. Maybe it was a patrol. Maybe it was a machine. Maybe it was death itself. The footsteps grew louder, deliberate, slow. They weren't light, not like her people, not like a child running for safety. Heavy, steady, careful, someone or something was coming. The footsteps stopped just ahead. A shadow stretched across the ruined street, held her breath. Every muscle in her body tensed. Her mind screamed at her to run, to fight, to do anything, but her body was exhausted. A figure emerged from the gloom. Tall, broad, wearing dark armor scratched and scorched by battle, not the invaders' sharp angular shapes, not the machines she had learned to fear. Something human, impossibly human. Her pulse quickened. Her pulse knife felt suddenly useless in her hand. She could not imagine what a human soldier was doing here. Humans were distant, rare, almost mythical in her part of the galaxy, and yet here he was. "Hey," the figure said, voice low but clear, calm in the chaos around them. "I see you. I'm not going to hurt you." His eyes widened. She couldn't move, couldn't speak. The human soldier stepped closer. He moved slowly, deliberately, showing no aggression. His rifle, long and unlike anything her people used, hung low at his side. He reached up and removed his helmet. His breath caught. A human face stared at her. Dirt streaked his skin. One eye was bruised and swollen. Blood trickled from a small cut on his temple. He looked tired, battered by battle, but alive, focused, and calm in a way that somehow felt comforting. "You're hurt," he said softly. She swallowed hard. "Why, you're real," she whispered. "I'm real," he said with a small, tired smile. "My name, Aaron, I'm a soldier, human." Her laugh was bitter, almost hysterical. "Humans aren't supposed to be here." Aaron's eyes softened. "Yeah, I hear that a lot." A sudden metallic shriek cut through the air. High-pitched, mechanical, dangerous. Aaron's expression shifted instantly. His body went tense, alert. "Drones," he said quietly. "They're close." His chest tightened, her blood ran cold. "There's no point, they'll kill us both," she whispered. "No," Aaron said firmly, "they won't." The street before them erupted. 3 mechanical hunters surged forward, red sensors glowing, weapons raised. They moved with terrifying precision, scanning the ruins. Aaron lifted his rifle. "Can you move?" he asked. Tried, her legs screamed with pain. She fell to the ground again. "Okay," he said, "then I'll carry you." Before she could protest, he knelt and lifted her in his arms. She expected his strength to falter, but he held her firmly, moving with the ease of someone who had carried the wounded countless times. He stepped into the street. The drones advanced. Blasts of energy streaked past them. Walls exploded. Dust, metal, and fire filled the air. One drone lunged, claws swinging, but Aaron reacted instantly, planting a small explosive near its legs and rolling away. The explosion threw sparks into the sky, scattering fragments of metal. Could not breathe, could not think, could not look away. One human soldier, alone, against the darkness of the machines. And somehow he was alive, moving with impossible speed and focus. He guided her through a narrow alley. Each step was careful. Each moment he risked his life to keep her alive. "Stay here," he said when they reached a small cover. His voice was calm, controlled, but she could hear exhaustion beneath it. He stepped out into the open, alone. His heart ached as she watched him fight. One by one the drones fell, either destroyed by his precision shots or forced to retreat. One charged him, catching him off guard. A sharp metallic arm slashed across his armor, throwing him sideways. He staggered, but he didn't fall. He didn't abandon her. After what felt like an eternity, silence returned. Aaron leaned against a wall, breathing hard. Smoke rose from his armor. A thin trail of blood ran down his side. He looked at her and for the first time noticed the smile that had returned to his face, small, tired, but real. "Told you," he said, "not alone." Something inside shifted, not fear, not relief, something heavier, something she thought she had lost forever. "Hope." Aaron knelt, reached into his pack, and treated her wound. His hands were gentle despite his injuries. Each movement careful, precise, as if he had been trained to preserve life above all else. "Why are you here?" she asked softly, her voice cracking. He paused. "My unit was sent to delay the invasion," he said. "We failed, but delaying buys time. As long as there's someone left to save, that's enough reason." Above them, the sky roared with distant battles. Human ships tore across the clouds, leaving trails of fire. The invaders responded. The war raged above, but in this street, in this moment, realized something extraordinary. The humans had not given up. They had come from the shadows when all hope seemed lost. And she, for the first time in weeks, felt the impossible, alive, protected, and not alone. Aaron helped her to her feet. She leaned heavily on him, trusting his strength. Together, they moved toward the edge of the city, toward the unknown, toward hope. And for the first time since the invasion began, believed she might survive. Because humanity had come. And humanity never abandoned those who could still be saved.